Good evening and welcome to Athens City Council. It's Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024 at 7 p.m. and we are in regular session tonight. I'd like to start by acknowledging that here in Athens County, we live and work on land initially settled and developed by earlier peoples, in particular the Shawnee and Osage, and those identified through cultures commonly known as the Adena, Hopewell, and Fort Ancient. Our first order of business is to establish quorum. 6 of 7 council members are present this evening, and so we have a quorum. Our next item is to appoint the clerk of council. May I have a motion to appoint Deborah Walker?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Clerk of council is appointed. Congratulations.
Shut that door.
Thank you.
Next order of business is the selection of the president pro tem and the acting pro tem. May I have a motion to select Jeffrey Reisner as president pro tem?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor of Jeffrey Reisner as president pro tem, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Congratulations, Mr. Reisner.
Yeah.
And finally, I'd like to have a motion to appoint Micah McCary as acting pro tem.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of Micah McCary as acting pro tem, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Congratulations, Mr. McCary, acting pro tem. Finally, I'd like to have a motion to designate Lisa Eliason as City Council parliamentarian.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Congratulations, Ms. Eliason. We have a number of minutes to approve for this evening. We have minutes from the regular session held December 4th, 2023, special session held December 11th, 2023, and the regular session held December 18th, 2023. May I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved. Seconded.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Minutes have been approved. Next, we have communications. I'd like to start our communications by designating the City Council committee assignments for 2024, including the chairs. The Finance and Personnel Committee will be chaired by member Jeff Reisner and will include Michael Wood, Beth Clodfelter, and Micah McCary. Transportation Committee shall be chaired by Solveig Spianis, and also with Beth Clodfelter, Micah McCary, and Jeff Reisner. The Planning and Development Committee shall be chaired by member Alan Swank, and will include Jessica Thomas, Solveig Spianis, and Michael Wood. And the City and Safety Services Committee shall be chaired by Micah McCary, and will include Jeff Reisner, Alan Swank, and Jessica Thomas. Are there other communications from City Council members this evening? Member McCary.
Thank you. I would like to begin by thanking Council for their support of our ongoing diversity and inclusion work, and note that Council members have received an email containing some of the relevant resolutions and plans and planning notes that kind of capture the multi-year journey that we've had, and will hopefully be culminating in the creation of a racial equity plan that will complement some of the goals in our Athens 2040 comprehensive plan. I'd also like to share a note of appreciation from a citizen whose parent, who is elderly and lives alone, received outstanding care from APD officers in a time of need, and without sharing much of the personal details involved in that sort of harrowing situation, it was the request of the citizen and the parent who had to go to the hospital with the help of APD that we express appreciation for the times when our officers go above and beyond to not only communicate effectively to help people stay calm in an emergency, but to get people the services that they need.
Thank you. Other members of council, any communications? Other elected officials? Law Director Eliason, would you like to present?
Reports will be forthcoming.
Okay. Mayor, anything to?
I want to just echo what Councilmember McCary just mentioned. I too received that same letter, and it's always wonderful to hear people recognize the positive aspects of our law enforcement. We often get them from the fire department as well, but just city employees in general. The other thing I'd want to share with council this evening is a notification that I believe I may have sent to you already. If not, you're hearing it for the first time, that the city of Athens is being recognized by SoulSmart, which is a nationally distinguished local powered company, organization rather, not a company, that helps communities improve the access to residential solar as well as solar for businesses. And if I may take a moment, the SoulSmart program is honored to announce that you have earned a gold designation.
Great.
I should mention that there's 4 designations with SoulSmart. In 2017, I believe, the city of Athens became a SoulSmart bronze community. We completely leapfrogged that to become a gold community currently. This achievement shows that you have met national best practices specified by the SoulSmart criteria to reduce local barriers for solar energy growth. The SoulSmart designation recognizes cities, towns, counties, and regional organizations as national solar energy leaders. The action you have taken has helped make solar energy more affordable, accessible, widespread. We encourage you to promote your SoulSmart designation, which like I'm doing right now, as a sign of your communities being open to solar business. I also want to mention and remind council that we had a greenhouse gas inventory done by Power Clean Futures Ohio, which recognized right out of the gate that the city of Athens has the lowest per capita carbon emissions in the state of Ohio, and that we are in the top 10% in the United States when it comes to a reduction in our carbon emissions per capita. I've mentioned this to council before. I'll mention it again. I'm chasing Tacoma, Washington, because Tacoma is the #1 in the United States. And I don't think it's that inconceivable for us to be a leader nationwide when it comes to reducing our carbon emissions. And one of the best ways that we can do that is really make a concerted effort to convert our fleet here in the city of Athens to EVs and make sure that we can electrify the city in a stronger way to provide EV charging stations for our residents as well as visitors into the city of Athens to use EVs as opposed to probably the largest carbon emitting entities in any community, and that's your cars, trucks, buses. We do have an electric bus, so I will share that as well as a reminder to City Council. But we're going to continue on this mission to do our part to reduce our carbon emissions here in the city of Athens and here in the United States.
Thank you, Mayor. Director Eliason would like to report on the law office.
So congratulations, first of all, to our president of council and all the council for being elected. And we just held the swearing-in ceremony for everyone. So everyone has been sworn in and is ready to go. So this report is required by the Ohio Revised Code. And each year I, at the first council meeting, stand up in front of you and give a report of business of our office from the previous year. My office is called the Office of the Law Director and City Prosecutor, and I am the Law Director. I am required by law to also prosecute the misdemeanors which occur in the city of Athens and in the unincorporated areas of the county. That would be impossible for me to do since I'm also the Law Director, so I appoint prosecutors. I have 2 full-time city prosecutors, and Chief Prosecutor is Tracy Meek. Justin Townley is the other prosecutor. 2 years ago, maybe it was last year, I changed the 3rd prosecutor position to a part-time law director, assistant law director, part-time prosecutor, and that position is held by Jesse Branner-Hiddle. So that's our office. We have 2 legal secretaries that are in the office, and By law, I'm required to prosecute those misdemeanors in the city, and my prosecutors do that, but also in the unincorporated areas of the county, which seems very odd, but it's been that way for decades. And I've been in that office since 1990, and back even in 1990, we were prosecuting the misdemeanors in the unincorporated areas of the county. So that would be someplace like the Plains. Incorporated areas, they have their own prosecutors. So the revised code says that we do that at whatever compensation is allotted to us by the county commissioners. So I have at the bottom of page 1 some case information on the criminal side, and we gathered that information on December 27 of 2023. There were 1,600 criminal, 5896 traffic, and 245 OVI cases filed in municipal court for a total of 7,751. So by comparison, in 2022, there were a total of 62 cases filed. So about 500 more were filed this year in municipal court. In 2023, 484 defendants entered diversion, and that was for things like driving under suspension, substance abuse, and offenses involving alcohol. So approximately 7,900 of those cases that were filed in 2023, 7,751, approximately 79% of those waived a court appearance. So like they got a speeding ticket and they went into court and or went to the window and paid the ticket. So they waived their court appearance, paid the ticket, they pled at arraignment, came into court for their arraignment and pled, entered diversion, or were prosecuted by another jurisdiction like Nelsonville or Coolville, Chansey. So our involvement was, we had 1,639 cases, and we followed those cases from pretrial to jury trial to appeals. We prosecute for a lot of different agencies. On page 2, I've listed them. The Athens City Police, of course, the code office, our city auditor, we prosecute cases for them. The Sheriff's Department, State Highway Patrol, High University Police, Public Safety, which is liquor control, the Dog Warden, Natural Resources, Department of Taxation. So any state agency where an offense, there would be an offense for violating a Ohio Revised Code section regarding that state agency, if they would bring it to us, we would prosecute it. We one time prosecuted a case, a beekeeping case, on behalf of the Ohio Department of Agriculture. So that was interesting. I give legal advice to the various city officials, represent the city in legal proceedings, and I approve contracts and bonds. I think I mention this every year that our office, the employees are all full-time. However, by city code, my position is 3/4 time, so I'm required to spend 30 hours a week in the job. Our budget in 2023 was $665,809. We received $79,000 from the Athens County Commissioners. The big thing that happened in our office this week, and last year you helped us do that by allotting more money in the budget, we went to a program called Matrix, and it's an electronic discovery program. We started it in May, and it's fully operational. And if you would come into our office, you would see that we no longer have paper files. So law enforcement, after they issue a ticket, they would bring the paperwork to us called the discovery, and then we would have to process that. And once there was an attorney, then we would send it out a paper copy. We do that all now via electronic discovery, and it's made a big difference. Page 3. I've given you some figures that add up to the total number of the cases we prosecuted. We prosecuted defendants without attorney representation, 429, with attorney representation, 1,130. We had a carryover about 80 cases from the previous year, so we prosecuted 1,639 cases. Of those, 1,007 were criminal, 218 were OVI, and 414 were traffic. We had 6 jury trials last year, which was an increase over previous years, and 3 appeals. On pages 3 and 4, I have listed some of the duties of the prosecutors. My prosecutors, law enforcement, every agency has their telephone number, and they may be called upon at any time during the day or at night. When I was prosecutor, oftentimes I would get calls at 2 in the morning. I kept my case book under my revised code book under my bed. I'd pull it out, answer the question from law enforcement, and my prosecutors do the same. So they are available at any time. Some of my duties are on page 4. Something that you may not realize that by Ohio Revised Code, I'm also attorney for the Athens City School District, and that's at no additional compensation. However, over the years, that has dwindled somewhat to the point, because everything's so specialized now, that the Athens City School District relies on an outside law firm to handle most of their legal work. I do things occasionally for them. I would apply for tax exempt status on a piece of property they may acquire, or sometimes I appear before the Board of Revisions on behalf of the Athens City School District. I'm also attorney for the Athens Civil Service Commission. So I think probably the most important thing, here's page 5, at the bottom half of page 5, our civil litigation. Last year, I reported to you we had no civil cases pending. And there were 4 cases filed against the city in 2023. 2 of those cases closed. One was an appeal from the Board of Zoning Appeals. One was something interesting, a replevant action that was filed against the police department. 2 are pending. There's a tax forfeiture case, which is the city has an interest by way of a special assessment for weed cutting. So the auditor's office or treasurer's office, the county, filed this tax foreclosure case, and we were named as a defendant, and we answered, and our interest is by way of the special assessment for cutting weeds. And then, of course, we have the complaint for declaratory judgment and permanent injunction. So we started this year with 0 cases, 4 were filed, 2 settled, and we have 2 pending. So that's my report, and I'm glad to take any questions you may have. Mr. Swank.
A couple questions, monetary in nature. Of the, of the 7,751 cases that you handled, do you have any idea what percentage of those cases were not City of Athens cases? In other words, cases in those unincorporated areas that you talked about?
Actually, the number of cases that we handled of those 7,000, remember, those are cases that include everything, traffic, a traffic ticket. So people come in, pay their tickets. Some people went into diversion. Other people were prosecuted by another jurisdiction. So in the end, we prosecuted 1,639. And I don't have that figure, but for next year, I certainly will have that figure for you. In the past, I've looked at those numbers. This year, with transferring to this matrix system, we had a little difficulty with the actual case names, but we were able to break it down. Next year, we're going to be able to break it down even further, and I can tell you that. I am guessing probably at least 40% of the cases were not City of Athens cases, and it may be somewhat higher.
But you probably know where I'm going with this.
I do know where you're going.
Of the, I lost the figure here.
Page 3.
Yeah, of the $665,809, was that the total budget, or is that the city's portion of the budget plus the $79,000 from the county?
Oh, that included the 79,000.
Okay, so I guess what I'm getting at is this: is the 79,000. I think of the word I want to use is commensurate with the services delivered by your office.
Well, for many years, it was 49,000, and then we started increasing it. And for next year, I did ask for more, 2% increase from the county commissioners. So when you're looking at that, keep in mind I have 2 full-time prosecutors now instead of 3. We've moved the duties from the third one to more duties for assistant law director. We've had quite a bit of civil work to do in the office, as far as, we had the new community authority, many other of the progressive ordinances the city has passed, and I've been responsible for making sure that those ordinances are correct. So if you're looking at it, 2 of the positions are criminal prosecutions. My prosecutors make a little bit, if you're looking at the benefits, it would not cover. So the $79,000 would not cover one position with benefits. And again, I'm guessing about 40% of the cases. And it may be slightly more.
Thank you.
Member Spielness.
Yeah, my question was similar to that, but I guess I wanted to press a little bit harder because I'm concerned about, whether you and your prosecutors can cover this much work, especially since we had an extra, 500 cases? That's a lot. That's a big increase. So I'm just worried if we are allowing for enough funding to do all of that work, and therefore, are we getting enough from these unincorporated areas, the city schools, the Department of Taxation, whoever else you're doing? I mean, it seems like, I don't know how it's done in other cities, but
Well,
wow.
it's done the same way. I've talked to other law directors about this situation, and there's no formula in the revised code, and the language hasn't changed. There's no formula whereby the county commissioners reimburse the city for the costs of prosecutions in the unincorporated areas of the county. The caseload has gone down. If you would go back and look from my very first law director's report in 2015, and I keep those, it was probably around 10,000 cases that were filed in Athens County Municipal Court. So over time, those cases have dropped. My prosecutors are very capable of handling the cases that they have. And I ask them, I want to make sure they're not overwhelmed and that they can properly do their job. So I do feel that those prosecutors can handle the number of cases. Now, if the caseload goes up, that position, the third position that I have, that I made assistant law director, part-time prosecutor, right now she is 3/4 time. So she's just doing all the job as far as assistant law director. But if it would reach that point, then I would assign her some more duties for criminal prosecutions.
May I ask,
Thank you.
Do you keep track in any way of the percentage of the cases that your office does prosecute that involve Ohio University students, faculty, or staff?
I mean, it's something we could do. If that's something that you would want, the next year when I do my report, I will do the percentage that are in the city, out of the city, and I can also tell you Ohio University. A lot of those cases are underage drinking cases, and those go into diversion.
Sure.
So we have no involvement with those diversion cases.
I was just trying to think of another source of funding for you.
Our funding is set by the revised code for the unincorporated areas, plus we don't get any additional funding for prosecuting the misdemeanors that occur on Ohio University campus. That's all part of all of everything that's included in there. So these are all really good questions. Member Eisner?
Years ago, when I first got on council and you did your report, and I was kind of flabbergasted when I heard how many cases in the county you were covering and how little money we're getting from the commissioners. And I think at that time we're getting like 50,000. And so I delved into it, looked at it, and I can't see anything in the Ohio Revised Code that actually makes the commissioners mandate that they have to give us anything.
No.
I mean, if the county commissioners said, zip, you're getting nothing, we get nothing and we have no recourse. We still have to prosecute,
Right.
but they don't have to pay us.
Right. Under 1901-34C, The city shall receive additional compensation for such services as the Board of County Commissioners prescribes. So,
We
you know, I've
prescribe
talked to
zero.
other law directors, and they would like to see something different happen, but it just doesn't. And it's hard to come up with a formula. So,
Well, it's kind of ironic that we can have guest tax and share it with the county, and we do have a formula to split it out, you know. But something like this, it's definitely a public safety issue. It's rather deliberate, I think, on the part of the state legislature. But then again, it probably is.
Other questions for the law director? Mayor?
Not a question or comment. I look at this lengthy list of services that are provided by your office, and I'm well aware of them. I see one missing that you may want to add in the future.
oh,
That's okay. Because what struck the chord for me was, you know, working with attorneys to review documents concerning the new community authority. I know Jesse is also legal counsel for the Athens Community Improvement Corporation.
that's right, she is. I will add that.
Just adding to your load.
Well, I tried to think of everything, but wasn't able to. Also, I want to thank council for the additional $11,000 at the end of the year, because we were able to change the flooring in our office and paint, and it looks completely different. We've modernized our office.
Right.
Remember Spielness?
Oh, thank you. Well, I just want to say thank you for all your work and your prosecutor's work. And I just need to also comment for public notice that anytime I have contacted you about questions and advice on things, you have gotten back to me very, very quickly and efficiently, and I really appreciate that. And I just want to, for those that are new on council, I want you to know how terrific it is to work with the law director.
Thank you. And I enjoy working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Eliason. Moving on, any other reports or communications from elected officials? I think we're all out of elected officials, so we're done there. Announcements and other business. May I have a motion to designate Mayor Patterson to serve on the 2024-25 Buckeye Hills Regional Council Executive Committee?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Congratulations, Mayor. And also a motion to appoint Mayor Patterson to serve on the 2024-25 Buckeye Hills General Policy Council.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. You are appointed, Mayor.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is the opportunity for citizens to speak on legislative items and city services not covered on the agenda. I don't believe we have anyone here to speak tonight. And we have the necessity to go into executive session this evening. I don't know, sometimes these things happen behind. Has it already been decided who's going to ask?
Somebody needs them.
I can do it.
Okay,
I
please.
will make a motion for council to move into executive session for the purpose of discussing pending litigation with all members of council and our law director and our mayor, looks like tonight.
Second.
Hey, you forgot President Council.
Oh, president of council as well. You're invited.
Excellent. Thank you. We will do a roll call for this. Member Spianis?
Yeah.
Member Reisner?
Aye.
Member Wood?
Aye.
Member Swank?
Aye.
Member McCary?
Aye.
Member Clodfelder?
Aye.
We will go into executive session, and we don't have the need to explain this as well as Chris and I always did about coming out and closing the door and 15 minutes, and it's just us tonight, so we will go into executive session, and then we will come back out of executive session to close our council meeting, if that's correct.
That's right.
Okay. So do I declare this meeting paused or anything, or we just say we will now go into executive session?
Now go into
Okay,
executive session.
we will go into executive session. Thank you.